This is a technology that is very important for mostly the third world countries or the countries that are currently developing. One of the things that I find interesting with appropriate technology is that these are fundamentally something that is organized by the US government, Canadian government, European government, and the developed countries for the third world for the most part. But the issue with this is that they don't include the natives or the indigenous people of these said countries. And because of that, the projects are not often very successful. But I think that one of the core problems with having appropriate technology is to involve the indigenous people, have the technical expertise, their engineers and the craftsmen to get involved in the process. By this process, we will definitely have good results of the project and the project will be beneficial. But politics and other things that are involved in this process makes it completely different. And I think that it's about time for a new paradigm to begin for this process. It is important, it is inevitable that if we involve the technical, educated people in a country where a project is going to be formed or created, it will be useful. So, Africa as a continent should find a way to do this. In other words, Africa should say to the West, this is what we need. Can you help us? And if you want to help us, then we want you to listen to us, talk to us, our technical expertise, and formulate a sort of a consortium so that we will address our issues. I think this is one of the things that hasn't happened yet. But if it does happen, importantly for us, we will be able to continue to develop. I think some of the projects are not effective at all. I remember a clip that I watched by Dr. Bruce in Australia, who built a washing machine for the Aboriginals. He created a fantastic equipment because he understood the cultural implications of these people in blanket. He also came up with a what do you call it? This heater, heater, because it's very cold in Quito. And because of the fact that he understood how much the Aboriginals like creating fire or starting fire, so he created something that has to do with a sort of a gas as well as fire that you can actually form or build underneath the tube tube for the emitting of the gas so that it involved the people doing so much work which converted into a heater for the aboriginals. I think that if you go to Africa and you see some of the tap waters that are built, the energy it takes to even pump it is just beyond my imagination. So how then do you call this appropriate technology when it involves so much effort to get water? For example, there are other things that we can talk about that also are related to this. So it's very difficult to understand and to comprehend how this is called appropriate technology. But I think by and large, it's effortless to get this technology going. And we are very grateful that they're helping us, but they should involve us to more and get some of our ideas of being the chief ideas versus using the ideas of the technical expertise who very often have no knowledge of the environment or the cultural aspect of these programs. So, if a program will be successful, it has to take into account the cultural, economic, social, political efforts of a specific country or people or a nation. I think that this is why in the United States we have the Peace Corps who traveled elsewhere in Africa, in Asia. And these people come back with so much knowledge, so much understanding of the cultural values that they become technical people for our African issues because they have a first-hand impression of the first world issue and the third world issues all combined. So they know the strategy, they know how to deal with our issues in a more prevalent way than a person who have no knowledge of anything at all. So I think that it's incumbent upon ourselves to have people who have been on many of these intercultural exchange programs to be the pivotal part of our society and the way going forward to solve our issues from third world countries to the first world countries. So I am asking without any condition or clause that people should be involved in this development process.